Welcome, 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 everybody. It's another Trader Roundup. And we are live doing a podcast. We're here for Mindset Mondays. And I'm hoping you can catch us on Twitter. Not sure if it's working or not. Give me a thumbs up. Give me some sort of comments if you can hear if the tech is indeed working. I'm not sure if it is. No matter what, if you're on Twitter, go to YouTube, go to Trader Roundup, at Trader Roundup, and Twitter's gone.
It's just too much sauce. Too much sauce.
It is quite a bit of sauce, Rod. It's nice having you on. Today we are talking Mindset Mondays, and we're encouraging people to go to the YouTube page, go to the website, join the movement, traderroundup.com. We're trying to just put out some quality and some value in the way of some content, produced content for you. Jade Cap, Rod, myself, all trying to create a higher quality product for you guys. So we got Rod here talking Mindset Mondays, and wanted to introduce Rod to the Trader Roundup table. How you doing today, brother? What do you got in store for us?
I'm doing great. Today we're going to be talking about Stoicism and trading, and it's a bit of a continuation of what we were talking about earlier today during the 7 a.m. affirmations and models spaces that we had on Twitter. So for those of you who missed out, do highly recommend today's AM session with Kit on his spaces on Twitter. And I did mention on there one of my affirmations, and the source of that, or I guess the inception of these affirmations had Stoicism itself had a massive influence on it. So what I want to do today for the first Mindset Mondays Trader Roundup is to go a bit deeper into Stoicism and how it relates to trading and performance, because Stoicism has been such a positive impact and influence in my journey as a trader and as a coach. So yeah, that's what it's about today, and it's today for me, when it comes to trading, when it comes to Stoicism, it's all about having that sniper mindset, having that mindset where it requires high levels of focus, requires high levels of resilience. And so I'm going to extract 3 lessons, 3 quotes essentially from Stoicism. And for me, Stoicism, it's a way of life. It's a philosophy, and it teaches us how to think, not what to think, but how to think. And it's there to guide us to making wiser decisions, to really just appreciate what we have in life. And it pushes us towards success and achieving our goals as traders and as human beings. And one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, he talks about, he mentions that worry and irrational fears are essentially mistakes of judgment and incorrect beliefs. What does that mean? Well, that means that if they're mistaken, that means that they can be corrected. Okay, so you can change your judgments, you can change your beliefs. So as a Stoic trader, it's important to focus on what you can control and let go of the things that you can't control, such as, what you can control is execution, risk management, and your perception of losses. This is so important, because Stoicism is not just a theory, it's practical. right? It's not something you just grab a book and, you know, one of Ryan Holiday's books and you start reading it and you're like, oh, this sounds great. No. You got to apply it. It's a practical way of life that you can implement when it comes to performance. And it requires you to do it every single day, outside and inside of trading. So you got to develop new attitudes, new qualities, so you can start teaching your nervous system to relax in adversity and gain better control over our instinctual responses. Then and only then do you begin to fully grasp what it is to be a sniper, a stoic trader. So I want to begin with a quote from Marcus Aurelius. Perfect. So we're just checking on the comments if we have audio or not. Good. So this quote is very profound. So I want to go into it. Let's go into it. Time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place. And this will be carried away too. For me, this particular quote and the lessons that I can extract from it, and we can all benefit from it, is first lesson is about focusing on the present moment. Because as a trader, it's easy to get caught up in the past or future performance of your trades. However, what Marcus Aurelius and what Stoicism encourages us to do is to focus on the present moment. Because that is all we truly have or control over. Our actions, our responses to the now. So when making trading decisions, concentrate on the current market conditions and what's available to you, the chart right in front of you, rather than dwelling on yesterday's trades or any future predictions. Second lesson is to accept the impermanence of things. So Marcus Aurelius reminds us in this quote that everything is constantly changing and nothing lasts forever. So traders should approach the market with a similar mindset, recognizing that market conditions are ever changing. And so we got to adapt. Now, that means knowing when to be in the trade and knowing when to be out of the trade. So wherever your edge performs the best, whatever condition that may be, is it in a consolidative London range? Is it a purge of Asia? What is your condition and how does your edge apply to that? There was one really profound tweet by ICT. I believe it was yesterday. I retweeted it, and he describes exactly the framework that you need to be thinking in when it comes to taking an entry. And then that, if you follow that framework, that's being in the present moment. That's accepting that conditions are gonna change. You just need to adapt and follow your model. So instead of becoming attached to any particular outcome, focus on being flexible and adaptable. So third lesson from this particular quote is to manage your emotions. Because one of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is learning to manage your emotions effectively. As a trader, it's important to be calm, composed, level-headed. So even when the market is volatile or, a black swan happens, something unexpected happens, it's important to practice mindfulness in that moment, such as deep breathing, meditation, get out, stretch your legs. get into the present moment. Go stare into the distance. Focus your mind on one thing. Become centered. This is going to help you with managing your emotions. Fourth lesson that we can extract from this is to cultivate resilience. In the face of adversity, it's essential to develop resilience. This mental toughness. Because remember that these setbacks, these losses are just a natural part of trading. Okay? And there's so much value in these setbacks because these are learning opportunities. So you got to use failures as a chance to reflect on your approach and identify areas of improvement. So losses themselves, the adversity, the setbacks, guys, this is a chance to cultivate resilience. Not attach yourself to it. Not start whinging about it on Twitter. Not becoming the victim. No, use that failure, use that loss, use that setback as a chance to reflect, identify, improve, reset, review, recalibrate. This is what I teach my traders. Yeah, this is the model. This is the framework. And those of you who work with me, you know exactly what I'm talking about when we reset, review, recalibrate. So rather than being discouraged or giving up on the day, or right, what is my reset process? What is my review process, and how do I recalibrate? Because you got to do that between every session, every trade. And the fifth lesson that I can extract from this is that you need to focus on what you can control. So the Stoics emphasize on the importance of focusing on what you can control rather than worrying about the things outside of your influence, your circle of influence. So as a trader, you can't control the market or the actions of other traders. But what you can control is your own behavior and your decision-making process. If you don't have a decision-making process before purchasing a funded account, you're gambling. I'm telling you straight, you are not trading, you're gambling. So you need to have a clear decision-making process. Now, I'm not just talking about trading plan. I'm talking about clear process from pre-market, trade management, post-trade, morning routines, evening routines. It's gotta be. You gotta know and clearly define what these processes, these standard operating procedures are, because it's gonna allow you to focus and develop a solid trading plan and something that you can stick to, rather than get distracted by all these external factors. Because that's what happens, right, guys? And it's I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult having, because it's where we live in the age of information. There's information coming from all directions. There's all these traders on Twitter with all these amazing models. Which one do you follow? I know it's hard, but once you've decided on your model, once you've decided on all of your process to get you to have that mentor, to apply that model, stick to it. So overall, by incorporating these principles, these Stoic principles into your trading approach, you can develop more mindful and resilient mindset, which will allow you to make better decisions, manage your emotions effectively. Because you got to remember that time is constantly moving forward. So it's up to us to stay in the present moment, adapt to the changing circumstances of the market. And when it comes to these distractions, I want to get into this topic a little bit more. And I want to ask you, Kit, like, how do you deal with all of these distractions when you're watching price, when you are deciding on which model to trade for the day, where price is going, but you've got all this noise? What is your process to block all of that to just focus?
That's an excellent question. Understanding the profile, the template, the higher time frame, the draw on liquidity, I think is super important. Uh, Understanding time, I think, is extremely important as well. These kill zones are a thing for a reason. NWOGs are a thing for a reason. On a Monday, you want to be mapping out your Friday PD arrays, and you want to make sure you have your NWOGs on, because it's going to be an NWOG Monday. And I, I I think it's just super important as traders that we're staring at price more in a meditative kind of style and kind of fashion as you're speaking. Having more impulse control, being able to predict where price is going is a very liberating thing, and I think more traders need to kind of tap into that and dial into that, and there is a Zen part and piece to all of this that we do. So I think you hitting on it today, nailing it on the head, it's huge. I mean, ICT came out with a really nice, legit lecture on NWOGs, NDOGs yesterday. And for me, I thought it was very much part and parcel with how he's delivered quite a bit of his content, and I enjoyed it. It's really good to kind of digest and see. So being able to project price, knowing where it's going to go, these NWOGs, you're in a consolidation, going to be thing. So
And
yeah, bro. I mean, that's what I got.
okay. And from it's what you framed there is a very, very powerful model. But in the moment, that when it's clear you know what you need to be doing, but then you have these external distractions. How do you block those out?
I think really trying to dial in to a zone, right? Like when you're coming in to read price, or I think you've said it before, but knowing when and how to step away from the charts, get a cup of coffee, get some water, do some push-ups, um, do something to disengage from the charts, recognizing that time is a huge factor, and being too engaged too often without giving yourself a break. I think that's really important, bro.
Yeah.
So how I try to eliminate distractions is by distracting myself, quite honestly. If I have a trade plan or a trade idea, the 10-minute chart I think is beautiful. I count bars, and the 10-minute chart acts a lot like the 1-minute chart, but it gives you a lot more time to analyze. So I highly encourage people utilize the higher time frame PD arrays, and those from a 10-minute chart, and kind of slow the day down a little bit. And I think when you're on just a little intermediate time frame, you could, I don't know, you can map out 10, 20, 30 minutes that you want to see something happen, and then you could step away if need be, do some dishes, get some laundry done, get some push-ups in, trying to find ways to be productive. If you're around the house, right? If you're working, then get some work done.
Yeah.
It is whatever it is, but I think those distractions are important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And those actions of you, for example, doing the press up or washing the dishes or making the coffee, you got to really engage with that exercise, right? It might seem like a minor thing to do, but actually practicing mindfulness of making the coffee, really just focusing on how the coffee might be frothing when it's mixed, when you're serving it, the smell, right? Just those few seconds of focusing on that one practice, that's going to help you. That's going to help your brain reset itself, so that when you go back to the charts, you're less attached to the outcome. So no, thank you for sharing that, Kay. I really appreciate that. And I want to pose a question for you all before we go into a short break. And the question is, how can practicing Stoicism in your trading help you or help us develop the mental resilience necessary to bounce back from losses, the setbacks, and ultimately achieve greater success in our careers as traders? So we'll be back after the interlude.
Out here on the street, I'm losing my way. You've gotten to me, and that's my mistake. Some might say I can't get too far without seeing your face. Oh, you gave me your heart and took it away. I'm going underground. Say your loving comes around, going underground, 'cause your love is not around anymore. Going underground, yeah. Going underground, there was a spark, there's now only doubt. No, no, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Oh, I thought you were sure, now you're a loser. I'm going underground, going underground. Say your loving comes around, going underground, 'cause your love is not around anymore. Going underground, yeah. Going underground, yeah.
Okay, welcome back, guys. So the next lesson, the next quote I want to go into is from none other than Seneca. And we're going to go through how we can interpret this into trading. And it goes, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man without trials. Very, very profound. Because what Seneca speaks is the idea that struggle and adversity are necessary for growth and self-improvement. So as a trader, it is challenging to navigate the volatile and unpredictable markets. So by applying the principles of this quote, we can develop the mental toughness and resilience necessary to succeed, to actually make this work. The first lesson I can extract from this is to embrace challenges. Because just like the gem that needs friction in order for it to become polished, so too do we need, as traders, the challenges to develop the skills, the necessary skills to develop and execute our edge. So instead of shying away from difficult trades, market conditions, embrace them as opportunities and learn to grow, learn to use them as opportunities for growth. Second lesson I can extract from this is that we can learn from our failures. So no trader wins all the time. So there will be trades that result in losses, and that's okay. So instead of dwelling on your failures, on your perception of that failure, use them as learning experiences, because these learning experiences are going to allow you to refine your model, your trading strategy, your approach. Every day is a school day. Always extract the lessons from both your failures and your successes. So the third lesson I can extract from this is to develop discipline. Because to become a successful trader, you need to develop the discipline in your approach. Sticking to your trading plan, even when the markets are volatile, even when, you know, the gurus on Twitter are against your trade. You got to resist your impulsive decisions based on emotions or short-term fluctuations. Once you've made the plan, if it's in your model, if it ticks the boxes, take the trade. That's how you develop discipline. And once you're in the trade, see it through. If you have a target that you've back tested, or several targets, if you've got a point when you're meant to move price to break even, be consistent, be disciplined, do it. Don't allow fear envelop you so that you close that trade early, and don't allow fear for you to move that stop loss to break even too soon, or that greed of taking out a partial exit nowhere near your target just because you're in a little bit of profit and you're scared of losing it. These are rookie mistakes. Avoid them. Fourth lesson is to practice patience. So as Seneca reminds us, trials are necessary for personal growth, but they often require patience to see the results. When trading, it's essential to be patient. Wait for the right opportunities to arise, rather than rushing, taking trades out of fear, FOMO, greed. The fifth lesson I can extract from this is to focus on the long term. Because the quote also speaks to the idea that true success takes time and effort. So as a trader, it's essential to focus on the long-term picture rather than getting caught up in these short-term wins and losses. Don't judge yourself by one trade. Think about your trades, your performance in quarters, right? That's how you should be judging yourself. So keep your eyes on the bigger picture and work towards these goals steadily, consistently, okay? Don't try go for these home runs. Don't try go and start, getting funded when you're not ready or scaling too quickly. Take your time. Because overall, by embracing challenges of trading and using failures as opportunities to learn and grow, you can develop the mental toughness and resilience necessary to succeed in the long term. Because remember, just as the gem needs friction to become polished, so too do we need trials to become better traders and stronger individuals. Now, when it comes to learning from failures, Kit, what would you say is your most recent failure that you extracted a lesson from?
I got too many to count, quite honestly.
A recent one. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, it depends on what level we want to talk about. Again, I've got plenty of failures I could go into, from a relationship standpoint, even from a physical diet standpoint, where just a lack of discipline, I would say would be a daily failure, and one that you want to tighten and strengthen. And to me, that's important. So I would say, I mean, discipline if I really want to hold myself accountable, which I do. So
and do you have a process to, or because you know you struggle with it, so do you have a process to try and learn from it? Anything that you've done in the past
yeah.
that
I mean, I try and be real mechanical with where and how I practice self-discipline, and it's a big deal. It's something I talk about to myself a lot, wanting to be better. And it goes back to kind of that self-talk, that self-speech, how important it is. So it doesn't, we talk about failures, it doesn't work all the time. It doesn't. Um, I want to be more disciplined, and sometimes I'm not, right? I want to talk more positive to myself, but then sometimes I don't. So I think those are just real failures in attempts, swings, tries. And as traders, I think we deal with, quite a bit in that
absolutely,
regard. So
yeah,
trying to get that 1% better is kind of a thing.
100%.
But yeah,
100.
I mean, I hope that answers the question.
No, yeah, no, that does help. And I do want to share a story of a trader that she had been trading for a few years already, and saw some moderate success. But she was really eager to take her trading to the next level. So we got to talking. We got start working together. We laid out what her processes were, and then we began to optimize. We began to look for the leaks, implement the fixes, and start applying them. So one day she came across this big trading idea, right? All the boxes were ticked. It looked too good. It had everything, but it was a really volatile market. It was a strong, high impact news week, red folder week as they call it. But there was a potential to making significant profit. So it was to some extent a high risk trade because of the conditions were very volatile. There was a risk of slippage, of course, but that risk is always there. So it could have resulted in significant losses. So despite her reservations, she decided to take the trade because it ticked the boxes. And that in that moment, she embraced the challenge because she saw the opportunity to grow as a trader. And it's not about that one trade. It's about embracing the challenge. She's polishing the gem. She had faith in her trading plan and her abilities. She knew that discipline and patience, with that, she will come out ahead in the long term. And obviously, whilst managing the trade, there was a lot of obstacles, right? There's that trade itself, it required several attempts. So there's times when you are going to you have a particular idea and you are going to get tagged out a couple of times. It doesn't mean it's the wrong idea. It might have been just your entry was just not the place where price made the move. And so then it was having to deal with that. And that was really difficult. But that in itself was the opportunity, because that in itself was a challenge. So even if you go through one challenge, there's still another one right around the corner. So again, she found herself with a few losses. But instead of giving up and getting discouraged, she leaned into the challenge. She recognized that the struggle she was facing was necessary for her growth and development as a trader. She analyzed the trading plan again. So it was first she reset, reviewed, and then she began to recalibrate, make the necessary adjustments, because perhaps maybe a mistake was made. How would you know if you're not properly reviewing? So over time, her perseverance paid off. She was able to trade, continue to trade, and in one of those attempts, the profit was made, and it was enough to finish the week strong. And that was a really proud moment for her as a trader, because she embraced the challenge, she learned from the mistakes and the failures, but she knew that from that experience, it had made her a better trader, because if she can do it once, she can do it again and again and again. And this is the key. And because of that experience, she no longer fears what the market is going to throw at her. Because once you've mastered that, once you've embraced the challenge, and you do that repeatedly, you realize that the markets will provide. I want to pose another question to you all before we go into another short break, and that is, do you remember a time in your life when you embraced a challenge, an obstacle, which helped you develop the mental toughness and resilience necessary to succeed? So you can put your answer here on YouTube or on Twitter, and we'll be tagging some of those comments later, or if you're watching the replay, I will be going through all the comments. We'll be right back. Welcome back, traders. So the next quote from Epictetus, it's talking about control. He says, we should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is or is not in my control? So this quote speaks of the importance of focusing on what we can control, rather than wasting energy on outside things that we can't control. So as traders, this principle is crucial for achieving success, mental resilience. The first lesson I can extract from this is to focus on execution. With your execution, you have full control over that. This means that you can control the timing of your trade, the size of your position, and the risk management of your strategy. So focus on developing a solid execution plan and stick to it. because then it becomes measurable. It's important to stick to it regardless of market conditions. Second lesson I can extract from this is that you need to let go. Breathe it out. Let go of these external factors, the market volatility, because it's unpredictable. The signals from other traders, the opinions, the past trade, tomorrow's trade, let go. It's essential to recognize that these factors they're just factors outside of your control. So instead of stressing over all of these external factors, focus on executing your trading plan and managing your risk, because that's what you can control. So third lesson is that you need to take responsibility. Okay, because while you can't control external factors, you can control the response to them. So by taking responsibility of your trading decisions and recognizing that your success or failure is ultimately in your own hands. Don't blame the market. Don't blame other traders. Don't blame these external factors for your losses. Instead, focus on learning from your mistakes to improve your strategy and your performance. A practical tip, lesson number 4, is you practice mindfulness. Because to determine whether something is out of your control or not, you got to be mindful. You got to be in the present moment. You got to be aware of your thoughts and emotions and feelings. Tap into the now moment. Tap into yourself. Ask yourself, check in with yourself. How am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? Note it down in a journal. So practice mindfulness. There's different techniques to it. And recommend going on YouTube, how to practice mindfulness. You'll see a ton of techniques, methods. Some of them are going to be meditation practices, deep breathing practices. These are going to help you stay present and focus on what you can control. And the fifth lesson I can extract from this is that it will keep you thinking about the bigger picture and always having that in mind. Because you got to think about the long-term game. You got to be in it for the long term. These individual trades, they might be impacted by external factors out of your control, but your success as a trader is determined by the ability to manage your risk and execute the trading plan consistently over time. Okay? Let time be your friend. So overall, focusing on the things that you can control, letting go of the external factors. As a day trader, this is going to allow you to develop the mental resilience, the discipline necessary to succeed in the long term. So remember Epictetus' quote and ask yourself, is this something that is or is not in my control? Before making any trading decisions. So how can adopting the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control and letting go of external factors outside of our control help us as traders maintain resilience and achieve long-term success? That's my question to you guys listening in. That's my question to those who are here live. And if those of you who are watching the replay, let us know in the comments. We'll reply to all comments. So let's open up the floor to some questions.
I love it. If you guys got a question, give us an ask. We'll get it put on the screen, and we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah. And if you really want to be heard, make sure you head to Trader Roundup, the website. There you can complete our survey. Let us get to know you and let us find the solution for you. So we'll have the link in the description of this video below. I think we got bit of a technical on the questions. Bring it.
The chat is ready to display.
Okay.
I see. I mean, Tom Wooten says, I won't lie. I'm going to have to Google what that means. I've never really been into any form of meditation exercise until I got involved with Trader Roundup, but I feel I'm starting to see results. Ooh. Muhammad says high production show. Hey, we're trying, buddy. And that's about it. That's about it.
I've seen some more comments. So what we're gonna do? Let's go into quick break, and let's fix this the chats, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. So there's I can see some comments on YouTube. So Too Nice Jew says, I took a loss today. I'm not upset because I follow my trading plan. I didn't make a trade. I journaled and found warning signals. Okay, I didn't take the trade, I assume it says. I journaled and found warning signals I should have seen. I learned a lot while journaling my loss. Okay, so it was a loss. This is good. This is powerful, because by not getting upset, you are accepting that the loss is outside of your control. This is the way. This is how it's got to be. And the journal is a powerful tool because the pen is more powerful than the sword. Journaling as a method, a tactic for high performance. Got another comment here. Oh, that's a good one. By Shadow. Does the Trader Roundup have a mission statement? Yeah.
We do indeed. We do indeed. I mean, we rise by lifting others. We are stronger together than we are alone. We can accomplish more together in 1 year than we could alone in a lifetime. And the markets will provide. That's the mission statement. We all come together in unity in the markets providing for all of us in this kind of mastermind principle towards success, towards learning, and ultimately our goal, our purpose, our fulfillment comes from helping others, strengthening others, strengthens ourselves. So
Thanks.
yeah, that's definitely our mission statement.
Okay, so Professor Dunkelor says, what I'm currently working on is discipline. I've done good with predicting where price will go recently. Now I have to tackle taking that 5-handle profit on a single contract. Stop trading after 15 handles in profit a week. So it's good. And most importantly, I have to remove emotion once I enter the position. Gotta adopt the mentality that I know where price will be, that I know where price will go, not be phased once it does. So this idea of removing emotion is actually, for me, I believe otherwise. You can't remove emotion. You cannot remove emotion because we're human beings. But what I rather like to think of emotions, I like to think of signals. This term of seeing emotions as signals are, I first this sort of this in particularly in trading. I first discovered this from reading the work of Dr. Brent Steenberger and Denise Shaw. They are trading psychologists, performance coaches, and what they say about emotions is amazing. And so when I realized that emotions are signals, and I started to implement that into my trading, into my coaching, I noticed a difference. So I was able to, instead of fighting the emotion and being disappointed with myself just because I got angry or I got greedy, just accept it. But I don't have to act on it. Just because I'm angry doesn't mean I need to revenge trade, right? It's that response. What is your response? So I hope that helps. Got another comment here from Vassal. I think we should change the way we think about taking losses. We should feel grateful that we had a stop loss put in place, and that is a stop loss. It helps us in losing less. Well, yeah, it stops you from blowing up the account. So yeah, we should these losses. I get what you're saying about being grateful. I think being grateful to just to be able to trade in the first place, to have the internet connection, the necessary hardware and software, to do something of value to be able to have the choice and the freedom of being a trader. And the even if you're working at the moment, even if you're studying part-time, and you're still developing as a trader, that in itself is honorable, virtuous, because you're standing for freedom, you're standing for something, and you're not going to let the machine condition you and to apply a specific program that this is who you are, this is who you're going to be, this is your number, and this is how you're going to live your life, and that's it. Where as traders, we don't stand for that. We're not here to be programmed. We're here to program ourselves. We're here to stand up for ourselves, break away from the matrix, and do good in this world. So gratitude is massive, so powerful. I want to finish off with Ainsley. Ainsley says, sometimes employment has situations that are no longer under your control. So what do you do if you empathetically disagree with your boss? Suck it up or disregard your principles? It's a good question. So sometimes employment has situations that are no longer under your control. Okay, so if something is out of your control, especially to do with your boss, I think you got to look at it, think about the bigger picture. So that job is allowing you to pay the bills in order for you to be able to trade in your spare time. So whatever job you have, be grateful for it. Now, if you have situations at work that are draining you, individuals that are quite toxic, or you have superiors that, or I wouldn't call them superiors, or just, managers or people that you manage, that are just, they are draining. Do you suck it up or disregard your principles? I would say no. You don't. It depends on what you mean by sucking it up, but you don't disregard your principles. You got to live a life of principle, of values, and you got to be consistent with them, because without these, who are we? Without these, the system will set principles and values for you. You become a number. But if you set your own principles and values and you stick to them, then you got to accept and take responsibility of whatever the outcome that may be. So if that means standing up for truth, if that means speaking up, and perhaps what you say might get you into trouble, then so be it. Because if you're consistent with your principles and you're consistent with your values, you can be consistent with your trading. That's the way I see it. But you got to be clever about it. And sometimes silence is a strategy. So choose your battles at work. And because it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war. So choose wisely. And on that note, I would like to thank everyone that's attended. I would like to thank my team. It's been an absolutely profound experience, and I hope that sharing and exploring Stoicism has opened up your perspective a little bit to the practice of the Stoic principle, and how you can learn to let go of the outcome and learn to focus on your execution. Because in the struggle of becoming a trader, there's opportunities, there's lessons. Don't miss out on them, because they're there right in front of you. Thank you, Kit.
Wow, Rod, bringing it strong. That was amazing. It's Trader Roundup, everybody. We're trying to really up the production here. Twitter's still undefeated, so we live with it. We learn, and we'll be back. So we got a lot more stuff coming up. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share. We'd appreciate it. It's good for YouTube. And know that there's more coming, guys. So thank you very much for everything. Have a wonderful rest of your trade session. And we're definitely in an NWOG Monday in this consolidated range. So hope you have a great rest of your day, and talk with you again soon. Bye.